the school for specific purposes to enhance education. The communication existed among the parent body and widely throughout Norwalk that we were doing this and what the reasons were. So, we have folks that were there at the school. Of course, Mr. Mosby is well aware of it, and his son Alvin. We have Tim, who left a second ago because I think he was nodding off. We have Rick and Eric and Pete and Shelley and Bob and so many others, and a few of you whose names I don't recall. But we have done an awful lot. We'll continue doing it. And this idea that we're strangers to each other, we don't communicate. I think we can enhance our communications, but I don't want to overstress technology or that we have to add 50 new ways to do things. We just have to walk up to each other and talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
One of the things that came out to me in this last election that we just had was something that kept coming out on the campaign trail was that education begins at home, begins with the parent. Besides my husband and I, who will be hopefully the most influential person in our son's life, it's also going to be the teachers. Teachers are probably, besides the parents, the most influential people who will impact my son Jackson. As adults, we remember how teachers made us feel, the things they inspired us to do. Studies show us that the single most important factor affecting students' achievement is the caliber of their teachers. And when we think about the qualities that make an outstanding teacher, those are boundless energy, endless patience, vision and sense of purpose, the creativity to help us see the world in different ways, commitment to help us discover and fulfill our potential. These are qualities that also make a great leader. How do we capture this in teachers? Because I think that they're also, you're turning over your child for a good portion of your day, that those qualities I want to see in my teacher. Those are actually a little bit more important to me than some of the test scores. I advocate that we find the best teachers we can afford. President Obama has just started it's been published a lot recently that there's going to be grants. There's going to be $31 million that are going to be given to the states to help with the recruitment process for teaching. I think it's something that we should look into and we should go after. And, I also had a very interesting conversation the other day with Audra Good, who's on the Brookside Elementary School Parents Committee. And she was talking about the fact that there's a 40% Hispanic culture in school, and it's becoming more and more in the Norwalk school system. And a lot of the parents don't speak English, and that is also a huge problem that we have to face and we have to encounter. How do we get the message out to those parents, and how do we communicate with them so they understand what's going on in the schoolwork that's required, and integrate that in the school systems? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Mary Paulson?
Parents definitely are needed to help with these kids achieve in school. One of the things I think is really important is to be visible in your child's school. But I understand sometimes that's not, that can't happen. A lot of people work, they're not in a neighborhood school, which is why I think it would behoove each school to come up with a variety of ways that parents could help in the student's classroom. They may not be able to go and read to them, but maybe they could send in water bottles for a field trip. Any little thing where a parent feels that they helped their child needs to be acknowledged, and they need to be thanked for it. A lot of people have a lot more time that they can spend in their child's school than a lot of other ones. But it doesn't mean that the parent doesn't want to do that. But let them know that there are various ways that they can contribute to their child. As far as how often should you communicate, as often as possible. I think the websites should be updated and current. So many of the parents go to that, and many, many times there's old information and it doesn't do anybody any good. So if you can get the technology Find a person that can update that. It's only going to help the kids. It's not going to hurt them. I think people need to be available. Parents, the teachers need to be available to the parents, not just during the school day. Let them put up their website. Let them put up an email so parents know that they can contact their child's student if they need to. Once again, it goes back to communication. It's key for our children. There's many different ways you can be involved. And I think that it's time that people start being accountable for their child's education, as well as acknowledging all the contributions that parents can make in a dozen different ways. Thank you.
Thank you very much.